Good morning. You're about to watch a video that I shot in the van. It's a bunch of clips. I just had to edit all the clips and turn them around the other direction, and I'm about to put it together. But as I reviewed them, yeah, the camera work isn't great. It's on the dash mount, and the sound is bad. There's something hanging from my rearview mirror that was hitting the camera that I didn't notice. Apologies for that. Putting that aside, and I'm not feeling good, but putting that aside, I hope you guys enjoy this story because it's crazy, and I am too old for this psychodrama nonsense. Good morning. Tell me you're dumb without using the phrase, I'm dumb. It's so crazy. Only a person of like a lower intellect would take the time to type that message to me. I'm a no kings person, but I'm not a flat earther. That's not the point. You missed the point. I say I put you in the same category. I don't say that you both believe the same thing, but your brains work the same way. You believe something that's not true, to the point where you will go out and mingle with other people, right, that have the same brain worm that you have, that allows you to believe things that aren't true, and then hobnob with people of the same ilk because it makes you feel good, and you're all sharing the same psychoses together. That's all. So yeah, separate from that, let's move on to another thing. I'm definitely feeling better this morning. Thank you for all the well wishes and everything from last night's Sunday night chat. I do appreciate it. I have to talk about this because something happened last night with these texts I was getting. There's, I've known a lot of wacky people. A lot of wacky people in my life. And, I goof on women all the time here, but I'm always specific about that. Like the types of people that I'm goofing on and why. And this was a bad decision this morning. I'm on Melrose and it's about 9 o'clock and the traffic here is insane. I'm on my way to get the oil changed in the van. So there's this woman I know, and I met her, oh boy, it was in the 2000s. It was before 2010 for sure. And I don't want to give too much away because it's a weird situation. Because when I met her, she was married and not happily married, and was on drugs and stuff. And I knew it. I mean, I know who I'm dealing with. I know people who have those issues. And we're gonna get out of here. Let's just take the back roads. One of the benefits of knowing the city, you don't have to sit there. So I went to her house to talk about something and, a possible project. And while I could see that she had some issues with drugs and whatnot, she had kids and everything. We spoke the same language when it came to design and furniture and art. And she liked the attention that I gave her. And I was just being kind like I'd be kind to anybody else. But it sparked something in her because she was in a loveless marriage and totally unhappy. And I learned more about it as time went on because she befriended me. I encouraged her like I would do with anybody. Male or female. If I see you've got issues, I will kind of not ignore that. I'm going to be like, hey, and allude to it a little bit, but try to motivate you to be better and all these things that I do. Because I do care. I come off kind of harsh here, but I believe in tough love and all those sorts of things, I don't think the traffic's going to necessarily be any better down here, but it'll move quicker on Beverly. So that's what I did, and she, at the time I didn't understand what was going on, but now it's obvious she was attracted to me. Who could blame her? I made her feel good. I made her laugh and all these things. I gave her compliments. And she cleaned her act up. And she stopped relying on drugs for her depression. And she started dressing nice and wanting to do things. And so I would do things with her from time to time. To me, it was innocent. I wasn't trying to get into her pants or anything like that. But she started coming on to me. And I'm not a homewrecker, you know. So I was like, I don't know about this, you know. But she kept coming over. And then she started telling me things, personal stuff about the relationship where, you know, they don't sleep in the same room. They're basically separated, just living under the same roof for the kids. And I know that story, and that's a true story. It's a true story for a lot of people. There's probably people watching this right now, true story. And in those situations, those couples will date other people, you know. They're not bringing it home, obviously. They don't want it to be a problem for their kids and all that. But whatever, she was planting all these seeds to break down my principles. That's exactly what happened. And so eventually, you know, a year or so into this, whatever it was, we ended up fucking, you know, and it became a thing where once in a while she'd come over but that's what it was. It wasn't a relationship. It wasn't a, what's the word? Because she used it on me later. She said something like, what's the thing when people have a relationship while they're married? I can't think of the word because it's not something I engage in. You know, it's not like some regular behavior for me. An affair. It wasn't an affair, at least in my brain, you know. And what I noticed with her, which was kind of scary, is an inconsistency of behavior. So she was always like, I didn't know who I was dealing with. And I recognize this because I've got people in my family like this. My mother was like this. You never knew who you were dealing with. Like there was always the potential for crazy. I can go this way. And I saw it because she come up, like for instance, if you have sex with somebody, you kind of learn how they are in that realm. But if they're different during that act, they act, you know, one minute they're in all this wild, fun, kinky stuff. The next time you use spit for lube, they're like, that's disgusting. You're like, wait a second, you had your face in my ass last week. What are you talking about? You know, shit like that. Inconsistent. It's inconsistent. I'm just saying, as an example. All right, get the kid out of the road. Get the little baby out of the road. There you go. So, that. Just weird behavior and mood. Oh my God. I mean, there was times when she just wasn't the same human being. And so there was this situation that had arisen where 30% of the time the sex was fun and awesome, but the rest of the time it wasn't, and it wasn't worth it. There was many times where I was questioning even keeping this going. And by this time she'd gotten divorced. Let me just throw that out there. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, it happened. She worked through this whole thing, got divorced, and then, you know, she started coming over a little bit more often. Okay, that's all that was. And, but eventually it just kind of petered out, and, you know, there wasn't any, I don't even remember all of it, to be honest with you, but her life got really weird, and it was too much for me, and I wasn't invested in it anyhow. I didn't start talking to her because I had that kind of interest in her from the beginning. But we had become friends. I did respect her on an art level. She's a very good artist, and I supported her in her art, and I helped her. I collaborated with her on many of her pieces, and she got her stuff out there, and she has this thing where she can do that, and it's amazing. And she's a extraordinarily beautiful vessel, you know, outwardly, and has this charm and whatnot, you know, a lot of positive attributes, but cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? And I can't deal with cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I just can't deal with it. We're gonna pull in here, so I'm gonna probably have to turn this off here. But Oh, my favorite little person is here. There's this little dwarf chick that works here. She's a lot of fun. Like, those of you who know me enough know that I'm into this sort of thing. All right, hang on. All right, that was the thing. So, just want to reiterate something here. When that whole thing started with her, it was for a couple of years, year and a half or so, where we were kind of doing that. And after that, it really petered out. And again, this goes all the way back to before 2010. And the last time she and I ever even messed around would have been probably like 2017 or something. So this is all old news. But after that, and by the way, between that first couple of years in 2017, so within like 7 years, like the last 5 years of that was like barely anything, ever seeing her. And not really messing around anymore. Like that part had been over for a long time. So, okay. Why am I talking about this? Well, like the last time I had seen her where anything kind of happened, like I had said, was like 2017 or so. And then I know that she got into some relationship with some other dude. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him. But I later learned through talking to her from time to time, that it was a bizarre relationship. Like weird stuff was happening, like sexual stuff and that sort of thing. And during the whole time, from time to time, on a regular thing, I would get these crazy, like bizarre text messages that were so insane, is the only term I can come up with. Because they were all over the place, and one after another, not so unlike other people I've mentioned on this channel. And I guess this is part of the point that I want to drive home here with this whole video, is that there's people out there that are, emotionally they got issues, they're overly sensitive, all these things, but also, on top of that, they're prone to drama. Their whole life has to be crazy drama, and they don't understand that the personal choices that they're making in their lives are adding more drama to their life that does not need to be there. It does not need to be there, and they don't understand that they're doing it to themselves. They think that it's normal. And this is a particular thing with women in general, because women tend to be the people who watch more of this sort of stuff, these sorts of drama films. Your stories, right? The soap operas. My mom used to watch that stuff all the time. All the crazy scenarios that you watch, unfortunately, a percentage of people who watch that, and it's mostly women, think that that's normal. They think that that's like how they should be living their lives. They think, they're conditioned to believe, because of what they're pumping into their brain all the time, that having conflict and crazy scenarios and drama is what's normal. I'm telling you, it's not, and it doesn't need to be, and you don't need to have crazy shit in your life. Just make better fucking decisions. So, because she got caught up with some guy in this crazy relationship that went sideways with her and created all these other problems. This also happens to be a person that owns a bunch of pets, like a bunch of cats, a bunch of dogs. I could never go to her place because it just stank, because, the dogs are pooping and peeing in the house and everything else. It's disgusting and gross. So just the whole scenario with this person was nuts. It should have never happened in the first place. It was a mistake. But there was a part of her as a human being that I kind of felt sorry for. And I'm a bit of a sucker sometimes. What are you going to do, man? That's all it is. It all came from a good place in my heart, It wasn't trying to make anything crazy happen. So, I would get these notes from her about this dude from time to time, and I don't want to know about it. And then probably 4 or 5 years ago, we met up where she was living down at the beach, and I think we had lunch or something and bullshitted, but nothing happened, you know. And after that, from time to time, it was always, let's get together. I'm like, yeah, sure, and it would never happen. And then a couple of years ago, I got a call from a number I didn't know, and it was some dude, and it happened to be this guy that she was in this relationship with. I don't know this guy, I never talked to him before, and he's coming at me from this weird thing. Now, a little segue here, this has happened before. I've gotten phone calls from dudes that are going out with some girl that I used to stick it in. And now they're nervous. Like something happened between them, and for some reason they knew about me. I guess presumably the girl they're going out with talked about me or something, or they saw pictures, and I'm in their head for some reason. And if something happened between them, they think that they're with me. And I'm not. That's never happened. One time it happened where this girl had a fight with her boyfriend and she came to my place. And when he called me, I said, yeah, I screwed the hell out of her last week. That's your fault. Like, I'm not going to lie about it, you know? I'm just saying. I've also had a lot of women tell me that their boyfriend or previous boyfriend or husband or ex-husband has had a problem with me. But if that's the case, that's because of whatever you said to them about me. All right? I got to pull in here and do something else, and I'll continue this. Yeah, by the way, the gas prices in California are friggin' ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, so I stop off here at SMG Auto. The van, I had to have that front main seal done a while ago, and we had issues with that when they did it. And I did all the research on it, and there's ways you have to put silicone in certain areas, and I had to bring it back a couple times for them to get it right so it wouldn't leak anymore. But they're cool. I mean, they're the coolest. And so I haven't had any issues. And the last trip I did, I came back, and I've been parking the van, as you guys know, over at the shop. I forgot to mention this other thing that happens here too. And I haven't been driving it, but I looked and there was like a drip of oil under by the gas tank, which didn't make any sense. And I went underneath there and looked, and I realized it was blowback from the front again. So I'll bring it in next week or something and have them eyeball that situation. We're going to get it right. He won't charge me for that. But I want to have the gas filter changed, which all these things I could do myself, but they're so cool. I kind of like going over there bullshitting with them, and if I'm flush, I toss them some coin to do something, and it's a good relationship. I like these guys. Irvin, he's a great dude. Him and his brother. At any rate, back to the story. So yes, from time to time, I get these weird phone calls, or I've heard these stories before, and this guy calls me, and he, under the guise of he's nervous about her. He hadn't heard from her in a while, a week or more, and in his brain, he thought she was with me. And I'm like, no, dude, I haven't talked to her in a year. At that point, I hadn't spoke to her in a year or more. No texts, nothing. And so, but we had this conversation, and I realized during this conversation that this is a weird cat, man. Because he's talking about her, like the sex stuff and everything, and he was alluding to the both of us hitting it at the same time, and I'm like, this guy is, and I'm playing along just because I will do this with people. I want to know what's going on. Psychologically, I'm trying to understand this situation. So, but that was it. Then I think there might have been another call from him a year later or something. Similar situation. I don't remember. This is not my world. I'm living my life. I've got nothing to do with this woman. I got nothing to do with this dude. I've never met him. So, but from time to time, I would get a text from her saying, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's get together. The problem I have, even though we haven't done anything physical in 8 years or more, right? That's a long time. I'm not, nothing's happening. Is that and even though only 30% of the time it was good, I find her attractive, and I remember the good stuff. I tend to focus on the positive things of people. And so my brain, I'm always thinking like, well, if there's a possibility to hit that, why not? But you can understand why I'm not doing it, because it's not worth all the other stuff that comes with it. So she sent me a text days ago where she's like, oh, I'd like to see you. I'd like to come by and catch up. And she alluded to the fact that she's not with this guy anymore. And I'm like, and I don't want to hit it. So even though I was under the weather, I wasn't feeling good Saturday, I took care of it myself a couple times because I didn't want to be tempted if she was to swing by on Sunday. Well, that didn't happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew I wouldn't see her anyhow. It didn't matter. And again, you guys know if you watch my video, yes, I wasn't feeling good. So I had actually canceled it the night before. I was like, this isn't going to happen. But last night, I get this text from her. This is so crazy. She first sent me a bunch of crazy texts anyhow on Saturday. A bunch of crazy drama. And I'm rolling my eyes like, I'm so glad I'm not feeling well. Even if I wasn't feeling well, I would have made that up to not hang out with her. You know what? I feel it right now. I felt better a little while ago, but I am a little tired. We'll see how today goes. I'm not going to over push it today in the shop. So, a bunch of crazy drama. And then last night she starts sending these messages saying, she asks me, did I have sex with this dude? That's crazy. First of all, why are you asking me that question? I've never had sex with a man before. I'm not gay. Never. We've discussed this before in other videos. I've told you guys funny stories. For her to even entertain that idea is an insult to me. And then she's like, because he's talked about this with you. He said, she got really descriptive, and I was like, and I wasn't answering it. And after the third multi-paragraph text, I have the text. I should put them on here, but I just said, this is ridiculous. And then she kept coming, and she said something like, you mentioned I had a birthmark on my butt. Well, you guys know that. I've talked about it before. And there's even a picture of me and Sarah naked, holding hands with the moon from the Saline Valley that I publicly posted. So you could look at my ass. I got a birthmark on my ass. So there's another point to this video, which is I'm starting to think this guy's like a crazy. If you knew her text and the things that she's accused him of doing at her apartment and stalking her and stealing money from her and breaking into her house, all these crazy things I have nothing to do with. It's none of my business. For some reason, she wanted me to know this stuff over the course of so many years. I think this dude might be the guy who keeps coming on my page in the comments, making all these crazy comments, calling me gay and all these other things, because he is a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs person. I think he's got a loose screw. His name's Dan. And, which she used his full name in the text last night. So I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. I didn't remember the name of the guy she was going out with because I don't care. But apparently he's telling her that he has ass sex with me. So I after all these texts, my last was, listen, it's totally insane. It's ridiculous. Have a good life. I'm now blocking you. So now I'm cutting this person completely out of my life, which I've done before. And I just always felt sorry for her because of her plight. But you guys know, man, you get to a certain age, and this is where I'm at now in life. I don't care who you are. I don't care if we're related or anything. If you're going to come at me with a bunch of nonsensical crap and drama and make-believe fantasy and everything else, I'm cutting you out, man. I don't have time for this. Matter of fact, to the point, let's deal with business or what we got to talk about. That's fine. I don't want to do small talk with anybody. I don't have time for it. So this is just a crazy story of how these things happen. And you know, part of it is this, and I think this is a good thing about me personally. I am still friends with the well, you know, it's a hard way to put it. I can't say it exactly like that. I've had a lot of partners, that obviously I never saw again or talked to or even know their names going way back. But for women that I actually had some sort of more of a relationship with, actually took them out on dates and whatnot. And, we're decades later, a lot of them, if I'm still in contact, I'm still in contact with a lot of them. I'm still friends with a lot of them. If you're a good human being, I don't care. Sure, bad things have happened with the relationship. You're not together anymore, anything else. I still focus on the positive. And I think the fact that I'm still friends with and friendly with so many women that and it was a short-term thing back in the day, I think that speaks volumes for who I am as a human being. Pretty good guy. So that's the reason why I was still in touch with her. And I see, even though I know she's, not right, I'm a sucker for a pretty face. Let's just face it. I don't have a problem admitting that. It's not a great quality of mine. But I'm also a person that respects talent in people. And this woman has this incredible ability to sell herself and get herself. The art she was producing is the sort of thing that was in very high-end shops where it's high-dollar stuff. And I know she could turn her life around on a dime if she would just stop getting involved with other crazy people that feeds into her crazy. She can't help it. That's the energy she's putting out into the world. So if you put crazy energy out into the world, that's what you're attracting. That's why she has the life that she has. She can't see it. And it's ironic, too, because what she does for a living, but I don't want to give too much away. But the point is, she should focus on art. She should starve, eat pet food, whatever it takes to buy art supplies, get that stuff going, and create art, and then put that stuff out there, because you sell one piece, boom, you're off to the races. And that's what she should focus on. And I've told her that for, well over a decade. I've been giving her the same speech. But it was like when my mom was alive, giving her advice, or anybody else, which we can't really talk about because of that person's sensitivity levels. It's always crazy to me too when you give people advice, they don't take it, and you still talk to them, and then years go by and they come at you with, "Oh, I should have listened to you. You were right." Mm-hmm. And you're giving advice right now on something that's current, and they're not taking it again. And then later, that they're going to tell you that you were right. And this is a problem. It's one of my nitpicky things with women in general, and I am generalizing, because they tend to be the people more so that do that. They don't take the advice. They do what they're going to do. Then they're calling you all the time or texting you all the time. They're still complaining about their lives, but they don't listen to you. They don't take the advice. They don't want the advice. They don't want the problem to be solved. They just want to bitch about it. It's kind of like Democrats. So anyhow, that's that. I'm going to get to work for a little while. I felt great an hour ago, and now I have a little bit of raspy and a little bit of a sore throat, and I am feeling run down. So we'll see how much time I can put in today, but I have to get work done. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had to bring this up with this guy in particular because if the crazy text that this woman was sending me is true, and he's done these things, and if he turns out to be this crazy dude in the comments here, and there's weirdness going on with them, I think, and he's already broken into her place and everything else, this guy could come at me with some crazy behavior. And dude, if you're watching this, give that a shot and see how that works out for you, because it ain't going to work out well for you. And man to man, we can have this discussion, because I don't want you in my life, and I wish you'd get out of that chick's life, but that's her call. But if you want a piece of me, you come and get it. I'm easy to find, and I'm not afraid of you or anybody else. I'm just saying. So I'm putting that out there. I'm doing this whole video to protect myself in case some crazy drama stuff comes at me sideways. Not my life. I don't want to be a part of it. I got my own shit to deal with. And so please, separate from this, anybody else watching this, I'm not interested in your drama. Not into it. Not going to feed into it. Not going to buy into it. And if you start hitting me and dumping all this crazy nonsense on me, that's a surefire way to get me to cut you out of my life. So I want to have a simplified life without all that bullshit. That's it. Have a great day. Be kind to one another. Avoid the drama. Hopefully you guys can see the crazy quickly and avoid it or get out of it as soon as possible. I'll catch you in the next one.